What's up, AfterBuzzers? We are talking Treadstone, Episode 6, Dissecting Bentley's Trip. We're talking murders. We finally got some answers. And of course, the fights. Stay tuned for all that and more.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Treadstone After Show. I'm your host, Lauren Hubbard, and yes, I'm doing a solo show. We went ahead and gave Benny the week off since he did a solo show last week, so let's just dive right into it. So, there was a lot that took place in these 60 minutes. You know, when I'm watching the show, I'm kind of like, wow, how long is the show? Because they are able to pack so much action and drama inside and have a pretty good storyline for each character, I think, personally. We're actually going to start off with J. Randolph Bentley because the story opens with him and he takes LSD and goes on a trip. And trip, to say the least. He slowly starts to remember things that happened to him. And he basically remembers Petra kidnapping him in 1973. And, he sees the video of him and he kind of remembers working for the CIA. But through all of his, visions and daydreams, whatever the trip he went on, we start to see like he's remembering who he was. But then, of course, the club gets raided and Petra finds him. And he actually fights and knocks quite a few people out on the club because the club gets raided. And of course, he gets hit by a car when he's running out and once again gets captured by Petra. Now, I guess my thing with John is, my biggest question is, where is he now? Like, where is he in current day? Because obviously we're able to see Petra in current day and kind of get a little insight into what her life is like, but we haven't seen any type of present day John. So I feel like he's going to be the, I might be skipping to predictions, but I kind of feel like he might be our loose end here. He's going to tie everything together and make this story come full circle for us because he actually plays a huge part with the Soviet and the testings and being a part of, the CIA. So his character carries a lot of weight. We just don't see him present day like we do our other characters. So our next character is actually, and we have a picture of Petra and John. So we actually get to dive a little deeper into their relationship in this episode, which I like because, you kind of see that he was basically beaten, tortured, and drugged to, I guess, be created into this new weapon that Petra created. And you see in the photo that was just presented that Petra has her hand on his face. So their relationship goes a little deeper than subject and doctor. She actually, I don't know if she loves him, but she's definitely infatuated by him. And she can't let him go. The doctor even says, you've gotten too close to him. You need to let it go. But she was able to actually get through to him, which if they literally sat there and electrocuted him, and then he had a gun in his hand, went through all the little shooting stations, techniques, and he could have shot her point blank, period. And she was like, give me the gun. I'm sorry. Boom, shoot. Like, he should have just took her out right then and there. But I guess he can't trust anyone. He can't even trust himself. So he really even says, when I'm around you, I'm not myself. I don't have control over my own body or thoughts. And his scene of the story actually closes out with guards bringing in 3 people who appear to be possibly family members or friends of John's. We aren't exactly clear. And he says he's being dragged out of the room saying, please don't make me do it. I can't do it. How do they know my name? My guess is it's John's family. I don't know if it's mother and father or brother. I don't know if it's and an uncle, but it's definitely someone related to him. And I truly, truly hope he does not kill them. I'm hoping that he escaped and that's how he got free from Petra and he didn't kill them. And then that's why they come back and get him. That's what I hope for John, because he seems like he wants to truly figure out who he is, why he was put in this position, but he's been just so messed up in the head, he can't even figure it out. Okay, and then next we see Doug, and and I think the last episode, we kind of saw he went on the heist to steal drugs from Patty Vernon, who they actually killed in the last episode. So, of course, he was sent on the mission, but a lot of stuff happened on the mission. He somehow separated from his team and went rogue, in their words. And police actually was able to catch Doug and called someone, I guess, what I'm thinking is from the CIA, who has something to do with Circada or, the Black Ops, whatever. And basically called that person to come and deal with Doug. So the guy actually shoots the policeman and tells Doug, like, we got to clean this up. Where is the guy who gave you your orders? And Doug says, I don't know. He's gone. So he's like, no, we need to clean this up. Doug then thinks that he's killed him, but of course he's still alive, follows him to the hotel, yada, yada, yada. You guys saw it. But the point is, now Doug knows, they know about his wife, Sam, and pretty much it looks like they're trying to get rid of Doug and Sam. So now Doug has to make a decision on how to save himself and his wife from basically being killed or taken care of, in other words, because they basically framed them for killing a dirty cop and also Patty Vernon. Sorry, guys. I was a little too close to the mic. Okay, so yeah. So for Doug, my thing is, he's like a wild card. Like, he always goes off and does his own thing. Like, obviously you saw when he met up with the other guys who were just going to raid the drug warehouse or the drug facility. He did his own thing. Like, not like, hey guys, follow me. He just like straight up left them. So, and he killed Patty, and they didn't even send him there to do that. You know what I mean? They were literally just supposed to get the drugs. So I think Doug is definitely a wild card. And he also is having a lot of trouble because he lived this whole life that he completely forgot about. His wife was part of the person who molded him to become the man he is now. So I just feel like he's really at a crossroads and he's really confused. And a part of him doesn't know what to believe, doesn't know what to do, which is unfortunate because I actually really like his character. I feel like he wants to do the right thing. Now, the next characters we're going to talk about is Stephen Haynes. We learn a lot about him in this show, too. His real name is actually Jacob Vickers. And they find him because of, his daughter. So Haynes and Matt Edwards are together. And now, if you remember, Matt said like he was going to help Haynes find his daughter and at least get to say goodbye or get some type of reuniting before Haynes has to turn himself in. But what Edwards didn't realize is he might be working for some dirty people. So they get to Haynes' daughter's house, apartment, whatever, and they see a silver car sitting there waiting. So they're like, obviously it's a stakeout. They're waiting for me to come here. So nonetheless, Haynes just straight runs to the car, doesn't have a gun, doesn't have any weapons, and he's just running. So then Matt's like, all right, hold on, let me at least cover you. So it turns into this whole shootout. 3 people die, 1 lady gets strangled with a seatbelt, and boom. Comes to find out the lady who was strangled with a seatbelt was the only person who could help them get some answers and maybe tie it all together. Now she's dead. They ran a facial recognition, And that is when they actually call Ellen Becker to get some questions. So, Matt calls Ellen and is like, hey, what's really going on here? And he sends her the picture. And that's when Ellen is like, you've went too far. Where are you right now? So Ellen goes and tells Dan, which I'm so confused. If it's not apparent by now that Dan is part of the bad side, Ellen's just like lost her marbles. I think she knows, but she also doesn't want to get killed. So she's at a really rocky point because it's like, okay, do I do the right thing and help Matt and Steven, or do I stay loyal to Dan and not get killed? Which is actually a question that Matt Edwards asked her. He's like, which side of the road are you going to be on when the dust clears? Which I actually really like that quote. But yeah, we find out that the lady that was killed actually works for an agency the CIA uses to cover up whatever, I guess, little adventures they want to go on when they go on shooting sprees and undercover black ops operations, So lo and behold, Dan sends out some hitters for Haynes and Edwards because now he's saying that Matt went rogue. And I think at this point, whenever Ellen after she sees that Dan is sending out the guys to go track them down, I think she realizes fully like, okay, this isn't a game. Well, she already knew it wasn't a game, but she knows she's kind of saying, wow, what did I really get myself into? And what are you doing, Dan? Because she already told him, like, some things are not adding up and this is a little fishy. And he basically shuts her down and says, hey, don't worry about that. Worry about finding your guys. So I feel like at this point, she needs to kind of step back and get on the winning team because obviously Dan is not going to win. Like, I just know he's not going to win. And I feel like if she wants to survive, she needs to go ahead and do the right thing. So before I move on to my next topic, I just want to take a moment to thank our viewers for tuning in with us. We really appreciate you making AfterBuzz TV the ESPN of TV talk. We could not do this without you. So if you're watching us on YouTube right now, go ahead, subscribe, like, and comment below. If you're listening on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, please. And feel free to comment as well. We definitely love what you hear to say because you're also our host and you help us keep the show going. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it, guys. Now, on to one of my former favorite characters, Miss Soo-Yun. And I say former because I don't know how I feel her anymore. Like, she let her guard down, you guys. She really did, which is unfortunate because to me at the beginning, she was a top power player. She just had it all. But unfortunately, whenever people do jobs like this, they always say family is your weakness. And that is how, if you're working one of those jobs, people will hold your family hostage. They'll take them away from you, kill them in order to make you weaker. And it's kind of looked like Miss Soo-Yun is getting a little weaker. Obviously, she got shot. She survived, which Benny predicted in the last show, which I feel like we all knew they weren't just going to kill her off right away. But she survived. And now we found out that her son has been sent to live with her grandmother, and they're actually detaining her husband. Now, I feel bad that her family is getting stuck in the crosshairs because her husband knew absolutely nothing about what she was doing. So at this point, he was trying to be loyal to the North Korean government, and his wife was doing some other work that he didn't know about. So now he's just probably, I hope they don't hurt him. Nonetheless, we see Colonel Shinnigan, and he tells her, you will be assigned a new mission. I'm just like, and of course she argues with him and says, I completed my mission. This isn't fair. And I do feel bad for her because, she really does love her family, and she was thinking of them, especially her son, and trying to save them. And it was just, I don't know if she was supposed to I know she was supposed to get killed, but I wondered if the colonel wanted her to get killed. I still am kind of a little iffy about where he stands on all this because it was clearly a setup. So I'm like, what is going on? Were you supposed to die and then your family would have been okay? Or like, what is, like what was really going to happen? But it kind of looks like the chat is popping. What are people saying in the chat?
We got a lot of people in the chat right now, including a Nash is Zumel, who is actually almost like Jason Bourne, who has a secret identity. This person in the chat is actually Ivan Soto.
Okay.
Believe it or not, secret identity. Ivan is just throwing out that a bunch of Jason Bourne references from this episode, including just the mention of the idea that, like, oh, you're remembering back to a former life or that they used to be here. Courtney Wilson also in the chat. Hi, Courtney. Just saying, don't think she was real. They said, lol, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Doug had his own mission apart from stealing drugs.
He definitely did.
He definitely did. But thank you all for so much for commenting in the chat. Keep commenting away. All the Jason Bourne references. Bentley is the creation of what became Treadstone. He's not a CI. Oh, I can't see what you mean, Ivan, like the others. But thank you all for please commenting and keep continuing to comment.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and talk about our news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So this is good news for the limited series. At first, the network was a little concerned about the amount of views they were getting. It actually wasn't that many, but apparently DVR reviews show that a lot of people are actually watching the show. So the viewership has tripled since the initial episode. It was a 7-day delayed viewing, brought the series premiere up to an impressive 1.84 million viewers. So that is amazing. And the numbers just keep rising, according to the article. So we're very happy about that. They did say they were a little nervous at first. It wasn't exactly what they expected. And then, basically just saying how the network needed some good numbers with shows like Suits dying once Meghan Markle left and things like that. So that's our news. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our special segment.
Which one?
I'm going to start with a favorite action scene. Oh, wow. I feel like I just got punched.
That was a loud punch.
That was a loud punch. All right. So my favorite action scene, I actually mentioned, is with Mr. Stephen Haynes. Of course, I feel like when it comes to parents protecting their children, they'll go to any lengths to make sure that their daughters and sons are okay. In this case, it was a father who was going to protect his daughter, and he definitely did. They killed 3 people in the one fight scene. And as I said, he didn't have any weapons with him. He killed the man in the front seat, knocked out the gun, did a little punch, smack. And then boom, the lady in the back seat pops up with a gun. He like, for a moment, he actually pauses because he's like, this is the lady who woke me up. But obviously he wasn't going to let her live. So he strangled her with a seatbelt. I will say, that part was a little savage. I was like, wow, I just don't know if I could literally watch someone's life be taken, in front of me just like that. I was just like, okay, like you're definitely savage. So kudos to him because that was my favorite fight scene of the show. And now for Extreme Ways. So Extreme Ways is where we say our favorite one-liner from the show. And my favorite line is from Petra when she is talking to Mr. J. Randolph Bentley. And so I will start. I'm helping you find your true purpose.
So good.
I love that quote because, she's saying that millions of people will sign up for this program. And he's saying, what have you created? What have you done for me? And that's when she says, I'm helping you find your true purpose. So I thought that was a very powerful line in that particular scene. And then I think I also mentioned a quote earlier that I liked too, but that was my favorite one. And now it is time for
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So my predictions, the number one question that I think everyone has, where is John? Where is J. Randolph Bentley? Is he alive? Will we see him? I feel like we're going to see him in the season finale or episode 9, the earliest. I seriously want to know where he is because, like I said, we've already seen Petra. We see how her life is kind of played out, but we have no idea what happened to John. Also, sad, but I feel like people die in every single episode, no matter who they are. I feel like Doug's wife, Sam, is not going to last too much longer. I feel like whenever she pretty much made her decision to become Doug's wife and they kind of like, she stepped away from the whole program. She became a liability to the CIA. So I feel like Doug may not get there in time to save her. I feel like he'll be like 1 second too late if he does save her. I want him to. I just don't know. I feel like Soo-Yun will eventually kill Colonel Shin, which I want him to suffer. I want her to save her family. So I feel like, yeah, like I said, parents will go through any lengths to save their family. So she's not just going to let her son be taken. Her husband so much, I don't know. I feel like people's spouses in this show are just kind of like disposable. And then Mr. Stephen Haynes and Matt Edwards. They're in for a world of trouble. Like they're just going to keep sending people to kill them. So I'm actually really curious at how their story ends. It's unfortunate that Haynes didn't actually get to talk to his daughter, but he wanted her to have good memories of him. So I get it. I honestly don't know what's going to happen to them. I feel like Ellen, Miss Becker, I feel like she will come to her senses and turn on Dan. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for my predictions. So, I guess that's all for this week, folks. Stay tuned for Treadstone next week's review. We will be here back on Tuesday at our regular time. So thank you guys so much for taking out a moment of your day to watch this review with me. My name is Lauren, and you can find me on Instagram at Lauren the Truth. So thank you guys so much for watching AfterBuzz TV, guys. We appreciate it so much. Have a great night.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.